FCTC final test. What is the main purpose of the secondary search? Locate any victims not found by the primary search. What is the term for the transparent part of a window? Glazing. Which item is necessary in order for the peak ventilation cut to be used? Plywood sheeting. Class B foam extinguishers are also effective on Class A fires. What does the R stand for in the lunar acronym? Resources. On a wet barrel hydrant, where is the valve located? On each outlet. Where on a pumper is the trash line most commonly found? Front bumper. For the purpose of extinguisher selection and placement, what is an example of a light hazard environment? Classroom. Approximately what percentage of the population of the United States has access to a 911 system? 96. For whom should firefighters consider that they work? The tax-paying citizens. The majority of civilian fire injuries occur in which type of occupancy? Residential. Which construction feature is most commonly found in Type V buildings? Platform frame construction. When should firefighters begin to think about which tools they might need for a given call? During the response. The smothering method of extinguishment is most frequently used in which wildland operation? Overhaul. Which term is a measure of whether a material will burn? Combustibility. Class D agents work primarily by forming a crust over the fuel to block out oxygen and absorb heat. What is the first step you should take when responding to an elevator incident? Cut the power to the malfunctioning elevator. Which of the following is one of the shuns of evacuation? Habitation. Which item is necessary to include in a life safety ropes documentation? History of use. Which type of hose roll is used to store hose on a storage rack? Straight. What is the term for preparing a knot by tightening it and removing twists, kinks, and slack from the rope? Dressing. Which tool is designed for both cutting and prying? Pry axe. When is it permissible for firefighters to wear partial PPE during salvage operations in the fire area? Never. The majority of Class A fires are extinguished by which method? Cooling the fuel. What foam application method should be used on a pooled liquid fire on the ground producing an intense thermal column? Roll-in method. Which tool is one of the irons? Flathead axe. A drag rescue device, DRD, is a component of the protective coat. An intrinsically safe electrical device is one that will not ignite a flammable atmosphere. Non-planned states refers to states that have no adopted OSHA regulations. What is another term for surface fuels? Ground. Which hose appliance combines two hose lines into one? Siamese. A fire department has posted the following message in a prominent location: "The fire department is here to serve you by saving you." This is an example of a _________ statement. Mission. Which type of ventilation operation is used as a defensive tactic? Trench. What is the most common method of transporting hazardous materials? Road. Firefighters getting close enough to apply extinguishing agent directly on the fire is the objective of which type of operation? Offensive. Which type of adapter is used to connect two female couplings to each other? Double male. Which hose lay is performed by two engine companies when hose must be laid in two different directions to establish a water supply? Split. The maximum slope of a low-angle rescue operation is _______ degrees. 45. What mnemonic helps firefighters remember the 7 categories of harm that can be caused by terrorism agents or other hazardous materials? Sludge M. What is the term for a two-way radio that is permanently mounted in a vehicle? Mobile radio. Master streams flow a minimum of 350 GPM. When hoisting a ladder, a _____ line should be attached to the bottom of the ladder to help control it as it is hoisted. Tag. What service does the NFPA perform with regard to hazardous materials PPE? All of the above: creates standards, performs testing and certification, recommends usage. How would a fuel/air mixture in which there is too much fuel be described? Too rich. When a ladder is used to gain access to a roof, a minimum of _______ rungs should show above the roofline. 5. Which tool is best for breaching a floor? Rotary saw. Which class of rope is designed to stretch significantly when loaded? Dynamic. In the context of firefighter survival, what is a safe location? A location that is less hazardous than the alternatives. Which statement about structural steel is correct? Structural steel is the strongest building material in terms of both tension and compression. In vehicle extrication, what is one of the 4 functions performed to gain access and disentangle a victim? Bend, distort, or displace. Common symptoms of smoke inhalation include headache and nausea. In which type of sprinkler system is the piping filled with pressurized air instead of water? Dry. The pressure in a system when no water is flowing is called _______ pressure. Static. What are step chocks commonly used for? Stabilize a vehicle's suspension. You have responded to a hazardous materials incident involving a substance that has been positively identified. It is determined that this substance is harmful by inhalation but not by skin contact. What is the minimum level of PPE for this situation? B. Portable ladders approved for fire service use can support up to 750 pounds 340 kilograms. Which type of ventilation opening is used to stop fire spread in a long, narrow building? Trench. What happens if a windshield is struck with a spring-loaded center punch? A small chip or crack will appear. If an investigation does not produce the criteria for probable cause, the fire should be classified as undetermined. In general, what is the maximum reach for a 28 feet 8 meters ladder? The second-story roof. The following is a list of actions that might be taken on a hazardous materials incident. Which action is appropriate for operations level responders, but not for awareness level responders? Take steps to contain the release. Which is a detailed profile of a chemical or chemical mixture provided by the manufacturer. Safety Data Sheet, SDS. What is the term for the movement of heat and smoke from an area of higher pressure to lower pressure? Flow path. Which device interrupts the current when there is a problem with an electrical ground? GFI. A firefighter who is trained and certified in chemical identification, leak control, and decontamination is AN_________________. Hazardous materials technician. What does the R stand for in the RIC? Rapid. In which case should a downed firefighter's face piece be replaced with the emergency face piece from the rapid intervention pack? The victim's face piece is damaged. From a doorway, a crew directs a hose stream at the ceiling of a burning room. This is a attack. Indirect. The realistic duration of an SCBA air supply is ____________________________________________________________________________________________________________________ than the rated duration. Much shorter. Which is a commonly used method of extinguishing Class B fires? Excluding the oxygen. To qualify as a light hazard for the purpose of extinguisher selection and placement, the majority of materials in the area must be low combustibility. What foam application method should be used on open-top storage tank fires? Bounce-off method. What part of the body does the bubonic plague attack? Lymph nodes. What does the INOVEIS stand for? Isolate. A niche study found that unprotected lightweight engineered L-joist floor assemblies fail after minutes of fire exposure. 6. Which tool is commonly used in interior search and rescue? Thermal imaging device. Which of the following is a significant drawback to using the senses to detect the presence of hazardous materials? Their use involves potential exposure to the hazard. Many new smoke alarms contain an extended life _________ year battery. 10. How does the vapor pressure of a liquid relate to its rate of evaporation? The greater the vapor pressure, the faster a liquid will evaporate. In which situation is it acceptable for a sprinkler system main control valve not to be locked into the open position? A supervisory switch is installed. Which of the following statements best describes how hazardous materials regulations are created? They are issued by governmental bodies such as OSHA. Which hose load has the hose up on its edge and laid side to side in the hose bed? Accordion. Level ______ PPE should only be used when the atmosphere contains no known hazards and when there is no potential for splashes, immersion, or inhalation of hazardous levels of chemicals. D. Every fire department must have a _______ to track personnel and assignments at an emergency scene. Personnel accountability system. A class _______ harness is a full-body harness for use by rescuers. 3. Ladders consisting of a single section are _______ ladders. Straight. What is another term for aerial fuels? Canopy. Fires that occur as result of human action or inaction but without malicious intent are classified as accidental. What is the function of lockout/tagout systems? Prevent unauthorized activation of machinery or electricity. A fire department communication center functions most like an human brain. Which tool can be used to unscrew a lock cylinder? Vice grips. Which question is important to consider when inspecting life safety ropes? Has the rope been subject to shock loading? Which is a hallmark of safe and effective emergency operations? Teamwork. What is the function of the PTT button on a two-way radio? Cause the radio to transmit. What is another term for fire point? Flashpoint. Which tool is classified as a rotating tool? Screwdriver. Where should streams be directed to prevent a blev? At the area where the tank is being heated. Most fires are caused by avoidable actions or situations. An oxygen-deficient atmosphere contains less than _____% oxygen. 19.5. Signs that chemical protective clothing is undergoing the process of ___ include discoloration, charring, swelling, shrinking. Degradation.